Welcome back for another exciting edition of the Cardinal Report. The Cardinal softball team is here and ready to talk about their season. We have Jay Farrell in the wings to talk about his brand new men's lacrosse program that will debut next spring. We'll chat about all that and more next on the Cardinal Report.
Lift off.
Coming in an even 9-9 on the season, the North Central softball team starts conference play hosting Milliken for a twin billing. Shanauer Field, the location, 39 degrees the temperature. Andrea Starr towing the rubber. She's just one of two seniors on the squad, the other being cleanup hitter Amanda Walker. First inning, Brooke Heimerl lays down the bunt, advancing Alexis Dawkins to second, just one away in the frame. Next hitter, and ouch, that'll leave a mark. Alyssa Vizvardes heads down to first with a new souvenir. That'll prompt a visit to the mound from assistant coach Mary Connolly. After reaching on a fielder's choice, Alyssa Vogel takes off for second. Brooke Kehoe with a strong throw down, but it skirts away. First run of the game comes in. Next batter, Kristen Iverson, smacks an RBI single. Big Blue with a 2-0 lead right out of the gates. But the Cardinals see all that fun Milliken had running the bases in the top half, so Samantha Anderson kicks off the bottom half of the inning with a nice leisurely walk. Jenna Trunyar follows that up with a slicing drive into the gap, Anderson holding at third. So 2 on, Rachel Bellatini at the plate.
Yeah!
3-run jack, Cards grabbing the lead 3-2. Bellatini's first ever home run as a Cardinal, the freshman hitting .300 in her first season on campus. After that rocky first inning, Starr settling down, getting out of the second unscathed. Starr, second in program history in wins, and behind one of her old teammates, Vlas Demanja. Cards are in the produce business, the business of producing runs. Third baseman Taylor Clugston with a screamer off the wall, and count that as a leadoff triple. 2 seconds later, Sarah Esposito hits a high fly to dead center, deep enough to bring Clugston home, make it a 4-2 score at the end of 2. Starr getting some help from her battery mate. Kehoe smokes one down to third, out by a mile. Starr, yeah, she's got it from there, punching out Devin Curry to end the fourth. No hits for 4 1/3 innings since Iverson's single in the first against the Cardinals ace. NCC adding on. Kehoe smacks another deep ball to center. Sacrifice fly for the backstop. 5-2 in the fourth inning. Anderson following suit with an RBI single of her own. The Cards up by a comfy 4 runs. Cards will tack on another prior to the 7th inning. That's when it gets interesting. 7-3 entering that final frame. Dawkins walking to open it up. Heimerl follows that up with a walk of her own. 2 on, only 1 out. Trouble in the 7th means another visit to the bump from Coach Connolly. All set and ready to go, and Vizvardes grounds to short, but Walker has a clank off her glove. Everyone is safe. Next batter, Vogel pounds a double to the gap, clears the bases. Milliken within a run, but the Cardinals with a heads-up play get an out thanks to a rundown, and then Kelly Layton dribbles the ball to second, and the Cards secure a 7-6 win. Starr now 5-5 on the mound on the year. In the nightcap, the Cards win another 5-3 the final. NCC improving to 11-9.
Feels great to get a win, especially starting the CCIW first home game. It's amazing to get a first win. Feels great to keep that consistency going. It brings our momentum forward, and it really helps us keep playing well. Oh, that is amazing. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the game, getting each other hyped up, supporting each other at every at-bat. It's great.
Welcome in, and head coach of the Cardinal softball team, Jim Kalawiak, joins me on set. And Coach, I feel like softball more than any other sport, even more so than baseball, is driven by the pitcher, and you have a really good one on your team, a senior captain. It's Andrea Starr that is manning the mound for you. How nice is it to have her on the squad?
Oh, I think it's definitely an asset, and when you have someone that is well accomplished but is durable, she's really pitched an awful lot for us over these almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
it certainly is very satisfying, and it's good to know you have someone there you can count on.
Now, you said she's been here for 4 years. You've had a lot of good pitchers over the years, one of which was Vlasta, who was, I think, graduated 4 years ago. It was her freshman year. Was it nice to have her in that mentor role for Andrea a couple of years ago?
I do think those type of things help, is when you have someone coming in that can look up to someone not only who's older but has had a certain degree of accomplishment as well. And in fact, at this present time, Vlasta and Andrea are 1 and 2 in total wins all time in the pitching circle.
Interesting. Who's on top?
Vlasta.
It is. So an interesting second half of the season to come, huh? But now the roles have shifted, and now she's in the mentor role, and you have 2 freshmen that are also on the mound. Is it nice to have that balance of trying to teach those the softball way at North Central?
I believe so, and I think Andrea has tried to pass along some things. When they first come in, I think they're hit with so many things that they're still feeling their way, and it's not usually until a little bit later on that they realize the person that is preceded them is really just trying to be helpful to them.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like another coach on the field and in practice, I'm sure, for you and your assistant coaches. Now, last year, a really successful campaign. You guys went 32-9. This year, you've had some up and downs. Has it been more of a challenge? Have you embraced that challenge more than maybe years past?
Well, it's something sometimes that you have to deal with. We had a heavy loss in graduation, and we had some other people that did not return. So we've had some turnover, and so this is a totally different team, obviously. And we're just trying to take it a game at a time. And we've had some struggles along the way. I think recently we've tried to pick things up, and we are moving in the right direction, but we still have a tough road ahead of us.
Is it more fun as a coach when you have new pieces joining a team, because now the aspect of coaching comes into play even more now that you have to really be hands-on?
Well, I would agree from the standpoint it's exciting, and there's a certain degree of enthusiasm, and the teaching perspective definitely comes probably more into play at this time. It's still nice to have the veteran, though, sometimes that you can rely on, and you know that they're going to pick up, the missing piece.
Now, you do have another senior on the team, Amanda Walker. How big has she been in that leadership role for some of the positional players?
Yeah, she's a quiet type leader, and she really tries to let her play do the speaking for her. And since she's been there, she's been one of the top hitters we've ever had here at the college. And I think if you look at the statistics in terms of categories, she's probably near the top in most of them. Interesting.
And you wonder if that two-sport athlete perspective comes into play, because she also stars on the volleyball team. Have you noticed that sometimes when softball player comes in as a multi-sport athlete, it helps?
I think it's definitely beneficial to them, and I think it's good to get away from the one sport routine, which has become very prevalent today. I think that diversity definitely helps. It's something that in terms of our society we've gone away from. We're doing more specialization, but I would think that she would say it probably has helped her.
Now, you've been at North Central for 27 years. This
is right. 28, correct.
28. Why North Central? What keeps you coming back?
It's a job. Things have gone pretty well, and you hope you just can keep on going right now. And I've been very fortunate with the student athletes that I've been blessed with, and the people that have surrounded me in terms of coaching and in the admissions and athletic department. So it certainly has been very beneficial.
Now, you've had your brother Tom on staff with you for 11 years. Is that special to have your brother on staff and to be working with him?
Obviously, we've both enjoyed athletics for a good bulk of our life, and I would have had him with us a lot sooner, except that he was coaching his daughter in youth ball and so forth, and he didn't have the time. Things just finally fell into place, and some of the people that I had with me previously have moved on. So the timing was just right.
Now, I couldn't help but notice when I looked at your bio online at the North Central website, one of the first things it said, it wasn't your accomplishments, it was the fact that your athletes were also fantastic students. How important is that to you?
Well, that's the number one reason why they're there, in all honesty. If you took a study or a survey, I think, throughout the country, I'm not sure everyone really hits this from that perspective. If a coach left, would you stay at that school? I think that's an important question to answer. And I think our students, although I think the softball element is part of it, I would hope they would say that they're there because they really believe in the school itself, North Central College.
It's really cool. Now, one thing that may not be going your way in the early season is weather. It seems like winter has decided to rear its ugly head over and over again the last few weeks. Is it tough to play in that wintry mix from time to time?
It's very difficult, and I feel very much for those that are participating. In fact, if you really analyze games, especially the ones recently back up here, I think they've played pretty darn well, especially the pitchers having to throw in this kind of weather. It's not easy to do. And then when you can couple that with a defensive effort that is pretty solid, you know, that's special because it's not easy to play in those elements.
Do you think it's an advantage for the pitcher or the hitter?
You know, I really think part of it comes down to the approach. There's some pitchers that are really bothered by that. If they're not and they're tough mentally, I think it is an advantage for the pitcher, depending on the approach. Because quite honestly, most hitters don't like hitting in those elements either.
Buzz in the hands, it's not fun. Thanks for joining us on set today, and best of luck for the rest of the season. You still got a long way to go. We do. I appreciate you having us, and we're going to try to do our best. Good luck. Coming up next, we have Andrea Starr and Brooke Kehoe. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report.
Introducing a new day of the week, someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Welcome to this week's Cardinal Corner, here with Gina Fisher of the women's lacrosse team. She is the program's all-time leading scorer, and today she's going to show us how she scores all of those goals.
What I'm going to be doing is an 8-meter shot, so if the other team fouls us in the 8-meter perimeter, then you get a free position on each of these hashes. So I usually get fouled right in here in the center because that's where I play, so my spots are usually right here. So some people like to start from back here and just launch it in, but I'm not that powerful from back here, so I like to run it in and use my speed to cut off the defenders, because we have defenders here and there and then all around there too. So what I like to do is I like to start like this, and then when they blow the whistle, I run in like this, and I move the goalie, because if I just go straight in, then the goalie doesn't move, she stays right with me. So I move in, throw a fake in there, shoot.
Nice. And you've done that, what, 200 times now, I think?
Yeah, but who's counting? 200.
You guys don't have a pocket in your nets like the guys do. So is it a little bit more difficult to keep the ball controlled in the net? Yeah,
well, it's definitely harder than the guys. Obviously, they can get more power to it just because it is so deep. But I mean, I think that comes along with, I've been playing with this stick now for over 9 years, so I'm kind of used to it.
Is it almost like a whipping motion? If you have to shoot from back here, is it more of a whipping motion, or because of the short pocket, the very shallow pocket, is more of a push?
No, you definitely still have to whip it. So it's just like, I was taught, it's like basically like throwing a softball or baseball. You know, you want to start back here with your elbow up, and then if you want more power, you're gonna have to put your hand lower. Because if it's just an easy shot right by the goal, you can have your hand up a little bit more, but to get the more power, you have to put it down here. So you want to put your arm all the way back and follow through.
Yeah, a nice little sound to it too.
So basically, yeah, just like when you're throwing a baseball, you want to go all the way across your body. It's the same thing. You want to have your stick land on your left hip.
This has been the Cardinal Corner with Gina Fisher. Thanks for stopping by with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Don't worry. 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome back, and Brooke Kehoe and Andrea Starr joining us on set. And Guys, it's been an up and down season. We'll start with Andrea. It's been one of those years where you're trying to figure things out as you go. Is that kind of more fun than just being in the groove of winning, or is it the challenge interesting?
It's a little bit challenging. We had a whole bunch of seniors graduate this year, and those are the girls that I've played with the last 3 years that I've been used to having behind me. So it's definitely been interesting to shake things up a little bit. It's been fun getting to know a lot of the new players that we've had come on, but definitely does make for some of those ups and downs when you haven't had that chemistry for so many years like we have in the past.
Now, Brooke, you're the catcher, and you have 2 new young pitchers coming in. I'm sure that's a nice workload for you to try and get them in the groove of things, and you'll be working with them next year as well. Is that a fun challenge for you?
It is a fun challenge because I really get to know them on a different level than everyone else does. And that was the same thing when I came in as a freshman and had to catch for her and Vlasta. So it's a lot of fun getting to know them, and I mean, no pitcher pitches the same way. So it makes my job interesting and a lot of fun.
How fun was it catching both of them at the same time?
Dre and Vlasta?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. They're 2 fun people, and they're great pitchers, so it made my job a lot easier, and they helped my transition go a lot smoothly.
How much did they shake you off? Ever? Not
well,
very
Coach
often?
TK calls the pitches, so.
So they're
She
really
doesn't
not
have that
allowed
on
to,
her,
to call you off.
Technically, they're not calling me off.
Now, for you, it's got to be nice to working with those pitchers as well, because you were in that role when Vlasta was here, and now you get to take over that mentorship role.
Yes. Yeah, I had a lot of fun working with V, and it was really great to see somebody who was just so confident, and I know that she'd been there before, and she'd had to carry the team a little bit with her pitching. I know that at the time she was the sole pitcher pretty much, and so having that balance with her, we played double headers, and so she would go and then I would go, and it was really nice because we had 2 very different styles, so we had a really, really good balance. We were able to throw hitters off pretty well.
I'm sure opposing teams weren't too happy to see the team.
And as far as the younger girls go, I mean, it's great to be able to give back the same thing that V was able to do for me.
Now, Coach mentioned that you're behind Vlasta in a lot of categories in school history. Have you paid attention to those?
I have a little bit. I am trying to go for the win record because it's interesting. My second cousin, actually, before V came in, was the previous all-time win holder. So originally I was gunning for my cousin, and now I'm gunning for V. So.
Keeping it in the family.
Yes.
Which category is that? Wins?
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, Brooke, last year you guys had a lot of success. It was, I think, a 32-9 record.
Yes.
How do you try and teach those young players what you did well last year and start getting into that this year?
Well, Coach always likes to start with the tradition of the program, which is 20 wins, and then we ultimately want to make the conference tournament, because once you make the conference tournament, anything can happen. So, I mean, that's when the season really picks up. So we're just trying to hand everything down to them and teach them what everyone previously had taught us. So we're just trying to hand it all down and motivate them any way we can. It's been difficult, but we're trying our best.
How fun is it working with Amanda Walker?
It's a lot of fun. She was one of the first people that I clicked with when I came here. So having her as a senior too, we want to send Dre and Walker out in the best way that we can. So that's what we're working towards.
Now, Coach Kolawiak has been here for a long time. Legacy has been set. The tradition has been set, as Brooke mentioned. Is it nice being a part of that legacy, that evolving legacy?
Absolutely. I think it was really great, especially coming in as a freshman, knowing that we're going to be part of a program that has traditionally done very, very well. And that's one of the great things about Division III is that you can come in right away and make an impact on a great team and be part of something great, even though it's not necessarily the big sports that everybody sees on TV.
Is that why you chose North Central?
I think that was part of it. I knew that I definitely wanted to be able to play somewhere. And I was looking at some bigger schools, and I was thinking, well, I could go here and maybe see the field my senior year after busting my butt for however long. So it was definitely nice to come here and be able to throw right away.
How about you, Brooke? What brought you to Naperville?
Honestly, everything. It was close to home. I loved my visit with Coach K and the girls. I actually came on 2 overnights, and he thought I'd never came on one.
Wasn't enough.
He didn't think I came on one, so he sent me for another one.
She got to stay with me, so
I got to stay with Dre.
So clicking a little early before you even came in as a player.
Well, he put me with Vlasta because she was a pitcher, and then with Dre, so
That's
it worked out. So just overall, the school and everyone that I met in the area that it's in, I just loved it overall, and I knew that I could come in and make a difference.
Do you prefer playing defense or being in the batter's box?
I like defense because I'm in every play, but I've been struggling with hitting, and so it's sometimes good relief for me when someone comes in and hits for me. So, I mean, it takes a little pressure off me.
I feel like catchers more than any other position say they enjoy the defensive work more than anything else. Do you find that to be pretty true?
I think it's pretty true. I do enjoy hitting, but when I'm not successful and inconsistent, what fun is that?
But I mean, baseball and softball, it takes one at bat, and then all of a sudden, the whole season can turn around. So it's interesting. But this season, you guys are progressing towards the back half of the year. And now it's time to start trying to win and starting to shape up for the conference tournament. Are you guys confident that you can do that?
I think so. I think some of our ups and downs came right off the bat in Florida, no pun intended. And so now that we just had our first conference opener, I think getting some of those jitters out right away and having some of our rough games before we got into the conference was sort of to our advantage, that we're sort of shaking the bugs out a little bit before we get into the big time into the CCIW. So I think we'll be able to do some damage.
It'll be nice when the weather warms up too, won't
it? Absolutely.
And you were telling me right before we came on, you more than probably anybody else are wishing that warm weather comes this way.
I need my hand. My hand's taking a beating with the cold weather.
Well, good luck for the rest of the season. We really appreciate you stopping by, and we're looking forward to seeing what you guys can do.
Thanks for having us.
Coming up next, we have the new head coach of the men's lacrosse team on set. We'll be right back.
It's time for play of the game, or, well, in this case, play of the match. Connor Sass has already won as part of the Cardinals' top double pairings with Victor Kruger, now the number 2 singles player facing off against Jake Lipka of Aurora University. And this volley is long, but it is impressive as well. And it ends with a Sass forehand smash that nicks the line. The lobs were fun, the point ender, well, that earns our play of the game.
Jay Farrell joins me on set. He's the new coach of the brand new men's lacrosse program set to begin in 2017. And welcome, Coach. Welcome to North Central. It's an exciting time for you, I'm sure. What's it been like getting this process going? It's not your first rodeo starting a program.
It's not. It's never the same, regardless of where you are, though. Every school has different things and different ways to work. But being at North Central is an awesome experience. Spent a lot of time this year on the road recruiting, seeing student athletes from all over the country, and talking to them and building a relationship to get them on campus and see if North Central's a potential fit for them.
Now, you can say North Central's home now, but I'm sure you spend more time either physically in other places or mentally in other places trying to recruit, because that is your job this entire year, is trying to get players to come in.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's North Central is my home, but my office seems to be on a plane or in a car for the most part. So yeah, we do a lot of traveling across the country to get student athletes.
Now, you've been in the area the last 4 years. You did the same thing at Benedictine, which is right down the road in Lisle. How much have you drawn from that experience now that you've taken the reins here at NCC?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every school is a little different. You're going to draw a different student athlete, depending on majors, depending on what they're looking for, size-wise, and all that kind of stuff. So every school is a little bit different, but starting a program, the same thing. We recruit the same type of student. Students that are focused academically, students that are wanting to build a culture on a college campus through the lacrosse program. That's something that's different between programs that are already established and new programs.
Right.
They're coming on campus and they're wanting to be that first group. They're wanting to try all the new things that it's going to take at a new school.
Starting programs is not foreign to North Central. They've done so a bunch of times in the last few years. The women's team started in 2007, and now they're off to a good start again this year. Is it nice to know that North Central has had success in this particular area?
Absolutely. one of the things that drew me to North Central College immediately was the success of all their sports programs. Regardless of what it is, they can start anything, and the college campus, the community, Naperville, it draws the best student athletes around the country. So definitely something that we can look forward to, and something we use on the recruiting trail is, hey, we'll be a first-year program, but look at all these first-year programs we've started. Look at all of the history of our sports programs. If you do the right things, then we're going to have some success here pretty quickly.
Now, you played out east, and I'm sure that's where you're recruiting as well as some of those schools out east. What is the culture like out there as far as lacrosse goes? Because that is really the hotbed, at least as far as most people think of lacrosse. They think of the East Coast.
Absolutely. It's similar to out here. In terms of. Lacrosse players are a special breed. It's a small community. It's a tight-knit community. You're fortunate enough that if you see somebody in an airport with a lacrosse stick, you can go up and have a conversation with them without even knowing them, and you have that common ground. So it's a really cool aspect of the sport. But it's life out there for a lot of smaller communities and smaller colleges. The most important thing, though, is it's all about academics. Yeah. If you look at the top schools across the country in lacrosse, it's your NESCAC schools, it's your Ivy League schools, your ACC schools. So I think that's something that's really important is, we're not just building athletes, we're building student athletes that go on to be excellent employers and job in the workforce. So that's a really important thing that I think lacrosse does a really good job with.
Hearing you say that, it makes me ask you, and I know this is going to get under your skin, how much do you hate the term lax bros? Because a lot of people think lacrosse and they think of this subculture of lax bros, even though I know people that are in lacrosse hate that. Yeah.
I think it's something that's been marketed to sell some stuff, but there's not very many lax bros playing college lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's a physically challenged sport. Like I said, academically, most of the schools that are successful in lacrosse are very, very high academic schools. So, we like to relax and have fun, but when it's time to, flip the switch and get work done, they do an exceptional job with that.
Now, you played 4 years, and this was at Springfield College in Massachusetts. As a player, have you found that you've drawn from that experience now as you've transitioned into a coach?
Absolutely. I was a goalie growing up my entire youth and high school career, going into my first year of college. So kind of watching a lot of the things that happened on the field, I learned a lot. I learned how to communicate with all different types of people that played in front of me. And then I actually switched to midfield. So then I was doing all the things that I used to watch and learn. So I think that's really shaped, my coaching style, my teaching style, in that I like to both watch and analyze, but I also know how to mechanically do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's a unique perspective, I think.
I feel like goalie in lacrosse, more than any other sport, is the least glamorized because you're getting pelted with. I mean, these are not soft balls. No. They're heavy.
They are. Yeah, solid rubber coming at you anywhere from 85 to 105 miles an hour. So it is not very glamorous, but. It's if you don't have a good goalie, you're going to struggle as a team. So it's important.
The padding is sparse too for goalies.
Yeah, we like to pretend we're tough guys, so we try to wear as little as possible. At the youth level, you'll see the shin guards, you'll see the thigh pads, and all that kind of stuff. But if you start wearing that stuff in the college game, shooters sometimes gain some confidence that maybe he's afraid of the ball a little bit. So yeah, the very, very, very little padding as a goalie.
Now you told me you started in second grade. It's pretty young for lacrosse. What was it about the sport that drew you to it?
You didn't have to sit out in the outfield and pick flowers until a ball rolled to you. That was a big part of it. And it was just still kind of new back then for everybody across the country. So it was fast paced. It was athletic. It wasn't as physical as football, but you still got to kind of, swing a stick once in a while or bump into something. At that age, you just kind of bump into each other. But yeah, it's a sport that has a little bit of everything. It has basketball in it. It has soccer in it. It has hockey in it. And that's a really cool aspect. It kind of blends all the sports together.
You ready for spring of 2017?
I am. I'm extremely ready. I love recruiting, and it's one of the most entertaining parts of the job. but I also love coaching.
Yeah.
So sitting around, this spring, just going out recruiting, it makes me hungry to get guys on campus next fall and next spring, to get out there and help develop some players.
We can't wait to see what you can do with the program. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just another program that's starting, and North Central is going to do it justice too. So
absolutely,
congratulations on getting the job, and we look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by. That's all the time we have on this episode of the Cardinal Report. Thanks to all of our guests for stopping by. I'm Kevin Jackman. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.